My name is Brigitte, and my last name is Jackson. I started coming to Turning Point probably in August-ish of 2013. My sister-in-law, Penny Little, invited me to come to Zumba, and through Missy Carvel, that is the Zumba instructor, I saw a light in her that shined like I'd never seen before, and I wanted what she had. I became a Christian at a very young age, about 11 years old. I was saved and I was baptized. My father was a preacher for the Church of Christ, and he wasn't an ordained minister, but there was a lot of small country churches that couldn't afford to have a paid minister. So my dad would go and preach at these churches on Sunday. So I grew up in the Church of Christ. I don't remember a time that I didn't go there. So I had a very strong background in Christianity. I was rebellious at times, I think, like any other young person is. I left home at 18, and my grandparents and I lived together for probably about a year. I went to a Christian college there, Florida College in Temple Terrace, Florida, and I stayed with my grandparents on the weekends. The college was very strict, very conservative college. I think I had one demerit before I would have got kicked out. On spring break, I came back to Missouri to see my family, and my best friend had set me up with a friend of her boyfriend's. Long story short, we started dating. We got married. Married in '86 to Arlen Berry, who at the age of 27 was diagnosed with paranoid delusional schizophrenia. And at that time I was 25. By the time I was 27 and he was 29, one morning I was getting ready to go to church with our 2-year-old daughter, Fallon, and it wasn't unusual for him to say things to me that really didn't make sense or just were odd. But I asked him if he wanted to go to church, because occasionally he would come to church with me. But he told me no, he wasn't going to go. Today was Judgment Day. And at that time, I didn't understand what he meant, and I was in a hurry, so I went ahead and left and went to church, told him I loved him, and went to church. When I came home, I smelled a sulfury smell, and I was hollering for him, and he wasn't answering, so Fountain was following me, and I went back to checking rooms to see if he was there and why he wasn't answering me. I went in closer to look and told Fallon to stay where she was, and I saw his feet at the edge of the bed, and he had sat on the side of the bed and committed suicide. That was probably one of the worst things that has ever happened to me in life, because I loved this man with all of my heart. And I had no closure over what happened or anything like that. But I got through it with God. People from the church that I attended rallied around me and my family like I had never seen before, because at that age, I had never really had a reason to have a church family come around you like that. Anyway, so that was, I think, my first experience with church family, and knowing that God cares for you and that they care for you as well. When I came here to this church and saw Missy and the light that shined from her, I knew that I needed to get back to God and God's people and the things that I knew were right and that I needed to do. I had been so far away from Him, carousing and drinking and just doing things that I knew were not godly characteristics. So I started to come to church here. And this church, all the years of my life, I had gone to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night growing up. And most of the time until probably I was, I don't know, I'd say in my 30s maybe, I stopped going to church and got really far away from God. And knowing the whole time I had a pull that was saying, what you're doing is not right. You need to get right with God, and things are going to change, and they're going to go the way that you would want them to go if you would just get right with God. So I know that it's very important from early years to now that we're not meant to be alone. God made us to be a member of a body. And in doing that, I knew that I needed to come back to church. So I started coming back to church. And my life is changing every day, little by little. At first, it wasn't so good because I think the devil tries to entice you back to your old ways. And in doing that, it created a lot of issue at home. But once I started coming back, then others and my family started coming, and my children started coming. And the church body here is just amazing that they have accepted us, flaws and all, and showed my family and myself what true Christianity is. And that's sharing with each other the love that God has for us, and that He loves us in spite of our messy selves, just the way we are. He wants us where we are, and He'll change us and do the rest.